the hospital, at the hospital that I currently work at for the March of Dimes, and I'm just flattered to be a representative of all those people who work tirelessly to make sure the worst of times can be a little bit better. As you saw in the video, my husband and I learned about our son and his rare tumor very late in our pregnancy. It wasn't until I was 37 weeks pregnant. It was a very typical pregnancy up until then, and we had no reason to think that we wouldn't have anything other than an ordinary birth story. It was Children's National that first saw us with their fetal care program, and it was there that we learned more about the tumor, more about how we could deliver our son into the best possible scenario, and we essentially put all of our trust and hope and faith into the many services at Children's National Medical Center. From the NICU, from the neonatologist and the NICU transport team that got him from point A to point B successfully, to the staff in the NICU, the nurses, the respiratory therapists, the doctors, the nurse practitioners, who let us keep AJ comfortable and stable for a week or so till we could figure out what we were dealing with. And then the oncology service and other services that would become involved in his care. And what was first a very dismal future for our son, slowly with the care and expertise of Children's National Medical Center, we were able to help our child begin to recover and place him on a journey of healing, which was a journey we were so grateful for. And after 10 months at the hospital, we can look back and know that it was the support of not only the staff, but also of our March of Dimes NICU Family Support Program Coordinator. She helped us learn how to access our doctors and the care team so that we could better advocate for our child. My husband and I are both highly educated. We had wonderful professions, but when you're placed in a room with your tiny little baby that you have all the hope in the world for, and they're covered in tubes, and you're worried about what the next hour is going to bring, you don't know where to start. You need someone to take your hand, to tell you you're not alone, and show you how you're going to get through this. And that's what we found in Christina Lloyd, our then NICU family support person. She was able to bridge that gap, which seemed cavernous for us, between our family and the medical staff. And one of the stories that I share a lot when speaking to other families or in groups such as these is the family meeting we had after our son's biopsy results had come back. The entire NICU team was there, and Dr. Angelillo was there, and we talked about the possibilities for AJ. Should we just make him comfortable and see what happens? Or should we give this kid a fighting chance and take some risks? And Dr. Angelillo, I need to let you know that many, many times over I have shared the story that in that meeting you said to Chad and I, after explaining the possible treatment that we could pursue, you said, it will be like taking a canoe onto the ocean, but if you want to get in that boat, I will get in it with you. And I have repeated those words in my heart every day, and I've repeated those words to countless webinars and fundraisers and staff education, because I think one of the most important things that we can do is to make someone not feel alone. And I felt, and my husband felt, that the March of Dimes got in that boat with us every day. And every day, we as a family have been getting in that boat to pay forward all the wonderful support that we've been given, the wonderful chance our child has been given. And while my husband and I continue to serve the Parent Advisory Council at Children's for many years, I also worked as a peer-to-peer mentor with children in similar circumstances as our family. After years of that type of volunteer work, when I had the opportunity to switch careers, 20 years as a journalist can get boring. And I decided that I wanted to pursue something that I loved, in this second act of my career. And what I loved was the volunteer work that I did with the March of Dimes. And so when there was an opportunity to step into a role where I could pay forward the support that I had received, I grabbed on with both hands. And for our family, when our son left Children's National, the NICU was really just the start of his journey. And I know for a lot of parents who might have had a child in the NICU or has a child with chronic illness, it's a long journey. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And all the tools that we received in the NICU to prepare us to be parents of a child with special medical needs, those served us well for many years afterwards. And AJ, when he left the NICU, he had a trach and a ventilator, a feeding tube. We weren't sure if he would speak, if he would walk, but we continued for many years to see all the different specialties at Children's. We were in the ENT service, we were in the oncology service, we were in the pulmonology service, and the GI service, and all of these, bringing down the house. All of these services, coupled with therapists through early intervention in Fairfax County where we lived, our child grew stronger every day, and slowly, piece by piece, this equipment fell away. And today, we have the very energetic 10-year-old boy that you see waving constantly to get everyone's attention. And also what I would like to share is our time with at Children's. I was exposed to me, what I consider the three most important pillars of bringing our child home. And those were the doctors and the nurses and the child life specialist. And I know a lot of people are very familiar with the roles a doctor or a nurse might have in an ICU. What's special about a NICU is in other ICU settings, you may be there for a very specific event, and you might be there a day or two, maybe a week, but then you get to discharge to the next step in your recovery, whether it's a general floor in a hospital or a rehab center or home. For NICU families, you're living in an ICU setting for weeks, sometimes months. To live in that kind of anxiety and stress-filled room for that many months can take a great toll on a family. And for us, child's life was so important in helping us support our older son who was home. At the time, Colin was 3 years old when his younger brother was born. And we had to learn how to best serve him. Why were mommy and daddy never home anymore? Why were they never home at the same time? Where were they going? What is this place? Where is this baby? I've been hearing about this baby forever. Where is he? And through child life, we were able to prepare Colin to meet his brother, and we were able to be better parents when we were at home for Colin. And a lot of people would ask if Colin was acting up at home. It was so common for the older sibling, when their routine was broken, to be upset and to act out. And I truly believe that we didn't really see a lot of that with Colin because we were so well prepared by Terry and the other child life specialists. So I think that it is an amazing, amazing place to be when your child is so medically fragile at birth and finally comes home with a long road ahead, to see him recover as well as he has, to be able to then turn around and know that I can advocate, that my husband can advocate for families like ours who don't necessarily have the opportunity to turn around and pay forward for other people. If your child is at home with that much medical equipment and nursing care and constant PICU admissions, it's hard to get out from under it. You might not have the opportunity to turn around and help someone else in that space. For whatever reason, we have been blessed to be able to leave that experience behind, even though we wear it on our hearts every day. And for me, the best thing that we can do is then turn around and support other people. And that is what the March of Dimes allows me to do every day, which I'm grateful for. That is what Children's National Medical Center allows Edie and the other people who work with her to do every day, to support one another. Because we can't control what's gonna happen to us. You know, we can't control everyone's outcome, but we can tell everyone that we're gonna get in the boat. So thank you all for choosing to get in the boat today. My son AJ would like to say a few words. He's been to these kinds of events many times before, and no one has ever offered to let him speak. And when I told him that Lisa said that he could come say a few words, he wanted to jump at the chance. AJ, you want to come up? You should know that it was many years of therapy for AJ till he could speak, and he really didn't start speaking in full sentences till he was almost 4.5. And you're gonna be amazed when you hear him open his mouth now.
Hi, I'm AJ. I'm 10 years old. I go to Flint Hill Elementary School. I'm in 4th grade. I do not really remember being at Children's that much. My parents do talk about it a lot. Like, to the point where it's getting obnoxious.
There you go.
I really like playing basketball, and I've been playing for the last 3 years. I'm a big fan of movies.
I'll go to the movie with you anytime.
I have a good life. I have a dog named Penny.
Why did we get it? Why did we get Penny?
Because we wanted a dog for so long. We couldn't have a dog because for a while I was highly allergic.
And we had a tree for you.
And we had a trach. I did.
What happened the day you found out you were going to get rid of your tree? You said 3 things. The day AJ learned he was going to no longer have a trach, he said 3 things to us at the bus. Why don't you tell everyone the three things that mattered most to this 7-year-old when he heard he was going to breathe on his own? What are the 3 things you wanted to do?
Get a dog.
Get a dog.
Go in the pool.
Go in the pool.
And go on as many roller coasters as we can.
Thanks to Children's National, we do all those things. Thank you everyone for your time. I appreciate you hearing our story.